Hallöchen Leute, ich bin Mark und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Genshin Impact. So, okay, Geräusche laden auch noch. Gerade erst reingestartet, war gerade noch im Ladebildschirm. Charaktermodell lädt auch bald. Hoffe ich. So, okay, gut. Keine Ahnung, warum das mal so lange dauert. Aber naja, was soll's. Funktioniert alles? Scheint so. Okay, passt. Dann würde ich sagen, wir machen mal weiter. Und zwar, stimmt, ich mache zuerst diese Mission hier, denn da wollte ich einmal zum... Oder war das dort? Chandra begibt dich dorthin. Ah, na, das da. So, eines Tages sagst du, du im Liban Mondstadt, genau, wo du dich mit Abenteuervorräten entdecken kannst. Hier triffst du auf Saccharose, die Assistentin des Alchemisten Albedo. Sie erzählt dir von Albedos großem Talent als Alchemist und hofft, dass du ihn auf dem Drachengrab besuchen und ihm bei weiteren Forschungen helfen kannst. Genau. Da bin ich nämlich zur Alchemiestation gegangen, weil ich was herstellen wollte und dann kam auf einmal diese Zwischensequenz. Die seht ihr jetzt leider nicht, aber da steht sehr beschrieben, wir haben die getroffen. Die werden wir auch bald wieder nochmal sehen. Wenn wir dort sind, wahrscheinlich. Oder den Professor selbst oder Doktor oder was auch immer das ist. Ah, das ist das, okay. Ja. Mal schauen. Dann geht die Mission wohl am Drachengrad. Ah, ja, gut. Nicht mein Lieblingsort, aber naja, gut. Man kann es ja nicht aussuchen. Kann man nicht. Definitiv nicht. Sonst überleben wir uns noch ein bisschen weiter. Das bedeutet, das dauert natürlich ein bisschen länger hier, aber macht ja nichts. So, ja, 3 Legendenaufträge habe ich gerade. Wenn wir heute wieder 2 zusammenbekommen und morgen schalte ich einen voran, dann können wir morgen auch wieder 2 machen. Und dann mal schauen, wie es weitergeht dann. Oh. Na, das ist nicht die, die ich getroffen habe.
Sister Rosaria!
Oh.
So here you are! Choir practice is about to... I've told you already, I don't go in for that kind of thing. I've got more important matters to attend to. Oh, but this event has commemorative significance. The church hopes that all sisters will be present. Hopes? That's odd, because I don't recall a fulfill the hopes of others clause in my job description. I mean, sure, but... But what? You're the event organizer, aren't you? Do you not find it the least bit odd? What do you mean? This far out from Mondstadt at this hour? Even if you set out right now, I'll wager you'd still miss the opening ceremony. Who knows? Maybe this is someone's grand plan to make a fool out of you. Huh? Well, that can't be. People aren't like that. Evidence decides what people are like, not your feelings. Maybe you're a little too trusting of other people. Don't fret, nobody's gonna blame you if you go back empty-handed. I can't imagine anyone else was delusional enough to think I was gonna show up. But if you dally any longer, you really won't make it. You're right. It's a very important commemorative event. If I'm late, then... right, I've gotta get going.
Nach Luft schnapp, finde ich gut.
Seems like that sister's an expert in making people believe anything she wants. I thought I heard something. Who are you and why are you eavesdropping? We'd better watch out. She seems like a dangerous villain, or a trickster at best. Oh, really? I'm a member of the long-standing Favonius Church. You're an eavesdropping pixie from who knows where, and you think I'm the trickster? Wait, she heard that? Paimon was whispering so quietly. And as for this outlander you seem to be following... So it's you. The honorary knight that saved us from storm terror. Well then, given your status, I won't press you on your reasons for eavesdropping. Otherwise, depending on your answer, I could have arrested you on the spot. What? Do the Sisters of Mondstadt have the authority to arrest people now? We can't go turning a blind eye to hidden dangers, can we? Why shouldn't sisters have a sense of justice? That doesn't sound right. But Paimon can't think of a good comeback.
Nehmen wir auch
Let's
nicht.
talk about you. What are you doing in the mountains?
Wir sind auf der Suche nach Albedo. Wir suchen nach der Wahrheit dieser Welt.
If it's him you're after, I made a point of noting his tracks. Many people have made their way up after the snowstorm. Let's hope they're still there.
So, are you also looking for him?
No, this is just a professional habit of mine. I sensed elemental traces in these tracks. Never hurts to be vigilant.
Du bist eine ziemlich eigenartig geworden, Schwester. Eher eine Detektivin.
I couldn't care what you think. Come on then. I'd like to see what he's up to anyway.
Nicht? Ja, schon zu passen.
Rosaria said there were elemental traces in the tracks.
Ich wollte gerade was sagen.
They should show up pretty clearly with elemental sight.
So, Albedos Fährte. Stimmt. Elementarblick, Albedos Fährte. Sie war der Hälfte, du. So, und da wird man schon wieder kalt. Das ist ein Geräusch, liebe ich einfach. Nicht. Okay. Wo ist er hin? Ne? Habe ich da schon was hin? Was Besonderes? Oder muss ich das sowieso ein bisschen? Dann nicht. Da war er jedenfalls nicht. So. Aber das rohe Geflügel und das finde ich immer gut. Hätte ich hier was sehen? Diese Kiste da vielleicht? So, noch Versorgungspunkt und das Unnötigste, soll ich hier Material bedienen? Gibt es nichts, alles leer? Okay.
You know, little Pixie, your ability to appear and disappear at will is very interesting.
Yeah?
After committing a crime, you'd be able to leave the scene without a trace.
You're so suspicious. Why is Paimon a criminal in your example?
Den da schnell mal wegmachen wollen. Ja, zu den anderen gehen. Die nerven mich immer am meisten. Die anderen können mir nichts. Keine Ahnung, ob ich irgendwas von denen brauche überhaupt. Kann ich ja nicht, aber egal.
You're in for a little shock. Come a little closer.
So nämlich. Geht das ganz gut? Okay, Achso. Ja, das sieht gut aus. Wird da hingehen oder einfach da weiter lang gehen? Okay. Oder Gras bewegt sich halt nicht. Okay, jetzt. Okay.
It's getting colder and colder. Rosaria, aren't you freezing?
Me? I'm all right. I got used to operating in adverse conditions a long time ago.
Huh? Seems like there's more to being a sister in the Favonia's church than Paimon realized.
Na, scheinbar muss ich den Blick ja gar nicht ansetzen. Ich kann einfach dem Weg folgen, dann passt es auch. Also ich nehme mal stark an, dass einfach den Weg aufgegangen ist. Okay. Hier lang. Aha. Da ist er ja. Glaube ich. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wie das ausschaut.
Is that Albedo? Why would he hang around a place like this?
The word on the street is he loves painting. He'll hang around anywhere for a good landscape. The views and scenery here are pretty good. Potential paintings everywhere you look.
But can't he see those hilly churros? Isn't he in danger?
Nee, wir sind in Danger.
Looks like we startled them. Enough talk. Let's take them out of the picture first.
Who are you?
Dachte, er wollte die malen eigentlich, aber naja, gut.
Thank the gods I'd already completed my painting. Would have been a shame to leave these particular hilly trails unfinished.
Du hast die Hilly gezeichnet? Ich dachte, du hättest eine Landschaft festgehalten. Quatsch.
What's up with painting hilly churros? trails? What makes them so interesting?
I'm afraid the answer isn't easy to explain. If you'd like to have a look at my painting, it may give you a clue.
Äußerst künstlerisch mit Malen und so.
Wow, look at the detail! But some of it seems to have been done in a hurry.
You can find these hilly trails anywhere. Quite boring, in fact. Not worth closer inspection. But take a look at this specimen. The build, the coat, and there's a distinct force at work here. In the cyclical lives of such primitive communities, such unique attributes are an indication of evolution at work. Evolution, the transition from nothing into existence, from the known to the
Hold your horses. Ugh, something tells me we're in for a thesis and I haven't got the stamina. We found your man. I'm headed back.
What? Don't you have any questions for him? Hey! Ugh, what a weirdo.
So Sister Rosaria brought you. Surprising. And I didn't have time to thank her. But back to the point. From her words, it seems that you were looking for me?
Mm-hmm. We met a girl in Mondstadt, Sucrose. She said you were stuck with your research.
I see. So Sucrose sent you here. Then, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the honorary knight. You've got the whole of Mondstadt talking. I've heard a bit of everything. Your actions during Storm Terror's attack, your elemental control, and quite a few other mysterious things. I'll skip to the conclusion. There's only one possibility after all. You came from afar. From another world, correct?
Stimmt. Du bist am Ruf als Gelehrter gerecht.
Excellent. If I could procure your
Ich hätte das
assistance,
nicht rausgefunden.
I think my research would benefit enormously.
Deine Forschung? Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob ich das richtig verstanden habe.
Forgive me. This must be confusing. Where should I begin? The essence of life?
Whoa, you want to start with that?
You're right. Giving a demonstration would be better than trying to explain. For example, awakening life. Breathing new life into fallen leaves.
You can do that?
Alchemie ist ein Wunder. Alchemie ist wirklich nützlich.
However, I have a particular seed in my possession. The method I'm talking about has produced no results. It's like you, in that it hails from another world. Helping it to grow, to bloom. That's the problem my research is up against. That's where I need your assistance.
Well, if you're struggling to figure it out, Paimon's not sure we're gonna be much assistance.
I beg to differ. I'm unable to comprehend the intricacies of life outside of the known world. But you're not from the known world. By observing and researching you, I may just be able to find a way to get the seed to sprout.
Das heißt also, ich wäre ein Forschungsobjekt.
Shall we just get out of here? This sounds a little freaky.
Könnte das gefährlich sein? Und was springt für mich dabei raus?
That's possible. But I will do everything in my control to ensure your safety. Time for a change of surroundings. We should be going. There's research to do.
Ja. Warum wird uns eigentlich nicht kalt die ganze Zeit? Aha, ich dachte, du musst ja dringend weg.
Albedo and that traveler seem to have hit it off. Takes a weirdo to know one, I guess. I wonder, does this constitute a risk to Mondstadt?
Ich hoffe mal nicht. Geniale Gelehrten unter Samen einer anderen Welt. Guter Missionstitel. Das erste Experiment. Elemente. Geht zum Prüfungsort. So, wo habe ich meine Fahrprüfung? Da unten. Ja, ich glaube, das passt ganz gut. Da kann ich mich mal aufherzen auf jeden Fall. Da muss ich hier runter, oder? Yes, perfekt. Ich möchte da noch irgendwas übersehen. Bestimmt, aber naja. Keine Zeit. Die Forschung wartet nicht, oder so.
Paimon has a question. After the seed sprouts, will it grow into anything?
I don't know. But I feel the importance will lie in the method, not the endpoint. Using alchemy to awaken otherworldly life into that would constitute a big leap in my understanding of the essence of life. After awakening, even creation may be possible. Still a little difficult to understand?
No, Paimon's got a brain. But what's the seed gonna become? Isn't that more interesting than whatever it was you were saying?
Paimon's got a brain, sagt... Ja, Mann. Anscheinend hast du doch nicht verstanden. Das würde ich auch gerne wissen.
Well, if it turns out to be a delicious fruit, dinner's on me.
Yay! Paimon's holding you to it.
Du weißt auf jeden Fall, wie man Paimon für eine Sache gewinnt. Du weißt, was Paimon bewegt.
Well, let's just say I, occasionally have to look after a child. Another lengthy explanation, I'm afraid. I suppose it's one of the few non-alchemy-related disciplines I'm any good at. The subject of my first research was the elements. In this world, manipulating the elements requires a vision. Though I can't see anything resembling one on your person, how you're able to freely manipulate elemental power is something I'd like to ascertain. I've got a few questions in that regard. Firstly, do you have any extra organs? A second heart? A fourth stomach? Things of that nature.
Schaut nicht so aus. Nein, nicht, dass ich wüsste.
Fascinating. And this floating child is connected to your body in some way?
What a
Hoffentlich auch
stupid
nicht.
question. Can't you see the gap between us? And another thing, it's Paimon, not floating child.
I was merely considering the possibility that you were an external organ. Perhaps there is some invisible force connecting you.
Ich habe Paimon auf meiner Reise kennengelernt. Ich habe Paimon mit einer Angel eingeholt.
Oh, that rules out that possibility.
Habe ich sie mir geangelt.
I wonder, did Paimon guide the elemental power to you? But that would mean that Paimon's elemental power would be enough to break through a mountain rock at least 10 meters thick, or cause the waterfall south of Springville to flow backwards. No, that definitely can't be it.
Hey, how would you know anyway?
In that case, it would appear that there's no obvious difference between the composition of your body and that of the humans in this world.
Sag doch.
Given that there's clearly a discrepancy in the research, it seems that only experimentation will yield the answers. Firstly, this mysterious elemental power. I'd like to examine exactly how it manifests externally. Let me lure a few slimes to the area. Perhaps you'd be able to defeat them, using whatever method comes most naturally to you.
Huh? Doesn't seem very sciencey.
Direct and clear observation are imperative to a good experiment. This is just a simple exercise. Naturally, if you require a greater challenge, we could bring in 6 Oceanids.
Slimes! Slimes are fine.
Ich verstehe nicht. Das Ganze klingt ziemlich ungemütlich, solange ich nicht von Hydrophantome zu Brei geschlagen werde. Na
Well,
gut.
prepare yourself. The slimes will be here any moment.
Das war mein Geräusch.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire!
Machen wir ja doch erstmal so, weil in die Feuer und so.
Windblade! Prepare to be blown away!
Hallo? Okay. So.
Nice and spicy!
Really? Oh, hi. Sicher Schlange, das Experiment abzuschließen. Oh, machen wir mal mehr Schaden. So. Ja, also. So, sprechen wir wieder seine Schlussfolgerungen an. Da bin ich
Great
mal
work.
gespannt.
Did you feel anything out of the ordinary? If you're injured, I have a few emergency potions ready.
kein Kratzer, mir ist nur ein wenig kalt.
Excellent. According to my observations, the manifestation of the external elemental flow is as expected. Elemental reactions are normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Now that we know that the external flow is manifesting normally, let's test the internal flow.
Internal flow? How do you test that?
It's very simple. I can use alchemy to create a potion that will extract elemental power. If the elemental power is stored or accumulated physically within your body, this potion may elicit an elemental reaction.
Kriege ich davon Magenschmerzen? Wird das in meinem Magen kristallisieren?
Sounds kinda terrifying.
Don't worry. In the normal course of events, you'd feel some temporary queasiness. No bodily injury.
And in the abnormal course of events?
If anything unexpected occurs, I've made the necessary preparations. Try not to worry.
Das beruhigt mich nicht
Well,
besonders.
it's not that there aren't any risks involved. But if there is anything blocking your elemental flow, we'll be able to locate it with this test. Just a warning. If an internal elemental reaction occurs for any other reason, that's a bad sign.
Das ist wie eine Vorsorgeuntersuchung.
Yes, that's an excellent way to think about it. Before we get started, the potion we'll use for the test is missing a catalyst. We'll need to find it. It's a type of ore known as star silver,
Ah,
but unfortunately not all of it is suitable.
Oh.
I'll take you to my campsite. We can gather some star silver ore on the way. I'll point out any likely contenders. All going to plan, we should be able to begin concocting the potion when we get to the campsite.
Paimon's still got a few safety concerns, but it seems like there's a silver lining. Let's keep our eyes open.
yes. Holen wir uns das Erz. Eure Straßensuche nach dem Sternsilbererz-Katalysator. Okay. Zum Beispiel hier.
Here. Should do for catalyst purposes.
Wunderbar. Trag auch. Oh. Warum ist auch hin? Was auch noch? Oh, ich habe ein Schild. Also nicht so schlimm.
This one. Usable with a bit of polish.
Juhu, hab's. Und das hier.
What luck. This should be enough. My
Ja,
campsite
richtiges
is
Glück.
just up ahead. I'll lead the way.
Du darfst, ich folge dir. So,
Let's dance.
I guess. Geht zum Lagerplatz von Albedo. So. Der sollte sich doch direkt hier um die Ecke befinden, wenn mich alles täuscht. Ah, das ist der Lagerplatz von Albedo. Da war ich schon mal. Das weiß ich ja, warum es diesen Ort gibt. Was ist denn das?
This is my campsite.
Das ist ein Einbrecher.
I've added the
Okay.
materials we collected to the concoction.
Ich mache ihn gleich fertig.
While we
kein
are
Problem.
waiting, have a look over here. My assistant Timaeus here is helping me with my research. I'm guessing you may have met in Mondstadt already.
Hallo, Kampfer.
Hello! I've just gotten hold of the data from your experiment. The report is already up on the board there.
Whoa! Look at all the data! You got all these results from one slime battle?
I wouldn't call them results, inferences, and a few daring guesses, perhaps. I think the most rational direction would be to expound on the phylogenetic relationship between this traveler and the slimes.
Vernünftig. Ich hätte gewettet, dass selbst Paimon und ich näher miteinander verwandt sind.
Consider, you don't have a vision, but you can manipulate elemental energy. The slimes don't have visions either, yet they too are able to manipulate the elements. Following this line of thought, I'm sure we'll be able to establish a basis in fact.
Not bad for a point of entry. But strictly speaking, slimes are elemental life forms. In other words, beings consisting entirely of the elements. A cryoregisvine, or even a whopperflower might be a better analogy. But tracing back the phylogenetic relationships between plants and animals, you might have to trace back to the world's origins. In that sense, things might get difficult, don't you think?
Yes, sir. That sounds correct.
After all,
Ja.
we've got our primary
Klar.
data already. This traveler is a visitor from another world. If it turned out that she did have a phylogenetic relationship with this world... Now that really would be something, wouldn't it?
Ah, it would. Apologies. I was so excited to get the data. I'll slow down a bit next time.
Ja, cooles Bild.
Speaking of data, to complete our research, we'll need some more. I'll be conducting analysis here for the time being. If you're keen for an update, just come and find me.
Great, I'll leave you to it.
Mach das. Was ist denn das überhaupt für eine Suppe?
Looks like the
Awesome.
potion's ready. I'll try a little first. If all goes well, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
In line with my expectations. Ready to drink.
Nimm dir den Trank vom
Remember to
Tisch.
keep calm at all times. And breathe deeply if you feel unwell.
Experimenteller Trank. Trinke den Trank. Boah, auf dein Inventar und benutze den experimentellen Trank. Das verstehe ich nicht. Das ist mir zu hoch. So, Missionsdinger hier. Ein Trank, der von Albedo mit Hilfe von Alchemie hergestellt wurde, hat eine ganz besondere Farbe. Laut Albedo war das Ergebnis genauso, wie er es erwartet hatte, sodass er ohne Probleme getrunken werden kann. Oh, cool. Cool. Dann, sprich mit Albedo und höre seine Schlussfolgerungen an. Brenne. Oder so.
Tasty? You've got a funny look on your face.
Er brennt ein bisschen, genauso wie ich. Ich möchte mal sehen, wie du was davon trinkst.
You said you tried some already. You sure it was ready? What's happened to her?
Oh, this was the result I was expecting. And a very positive one at that. This potion channels elemental power into the body. Under normal circumstances, a repelling reaction is to be expected. But if the internal elemental flow is unimpeded, you'll only experience momentary discomfort. Once the flow is complete, there won't be any other effects.
So you knew you'd be sick and still drink some?
It was my own concoction, of course. Only natural for me to be the guinea pig.
Weil du dir um das Testobjekt Sorgen machst und bei dir ist das egal.
But of course, you're my assistant. By all sense and reason, it would be wrong of me to place that risk onto you. In conclusion, I'd say we have our conclusion. As far as elemental energy is concerned, you're no different from anyone else in this world. Nothing peculiar.
Aw, Paimon wanted something cooler to happen.
Then again, better an ordinary result than a peculiar result. Peculiar results have a tendency to be of the undesirable variety.
Das war jetzt aber verdächtig spezifisch.
The good thing about ordinary is that everything is an object of reference, and everyone understands you. People are the same, they can understand, empathize, encourage, and support one another. When you're sick, a doctor can diagnose you because they are you. When something goes wrong, you can ask people who've made the same mistake for their experience because you are them. But a peculiar person, they don't have much recourse for the things we take for granted. The essence of their life is fundamentally different. For example, a human can't understand the life of a pyroregisvine or an Eye of the Storm. Have I explained it clearly enough?
Ich glaube, ich begreife langsam. Klingt immer noch verdächtig
To
spezifisch.
sum up, this has been a positive outcome. Going forward, you can use your elemental power without fear. Timaeus, the results of the new experiment are out. If you could see to collating them.
Just a moment, sir. I'll handle it. Oh, you gave me a lot to consider. Really stretched my limits. I'm thinking a lot clearer now. Having you down as an animal wasn't very precise of me, but starting with the premise of an elemental life form, now that was...
Not bad. I think it's an interesting line of inquiry. Whatever the truth of the matter, I'd like your research at the fore as opposed to my judgment.
You can count on me, sir. I'll extract a result satisfactory to all.
Is he trying to join the Knights? He's starting to sound like a suck-up. What Paimon meant to say was, that's the spirit. Mr. Albedo, say something.
Before we can proceed with our research, I need to prepare something. Wait one moment. If you're interested, why not have a look around? It may help to pass the time.
Gut. Zeit verplempern kann ich. Das erste Experiment. Elemente. Das zweite Experiment. Welt. Beobachte die Anlagen im Lagertisch betrachten. Das sieht wie ein Alchemie-Arbeitstisch aus. Hier sind einige Tränke und andere Apparate ausgelegt. Benutzt Albedo diese, um die Welt zu erforschen? Das tut doch nicht weh, diese anzufassen. Oder doch? Was anzufassen halt natürlich. Den Tisch oder die Sachen oder whatever. Tafel betrachten. Eine Tafel, auf der einige unverständliche Versuchsberichte kleben. Trotzdem merkst du, dass bei diesen Experimenten Fortschritte gemacht wurden. Das merke ich mit einem 6. Sinn. Oder 7. Ich habe keine Ahnung. Herstellen. Achso, ja, ich wollte eigentlich noch ein paar von denen da herstellen. War noch ein paar. Ein paar Sachen gesammelt. Da kann ich nicht zwei. Jetzt habe ich zu wenig Kohlapis. Ich dachte mir, wird sogar an den Blumen hapern, aber okay. Gut, wie viel habe ich da jetzt? 3 noch. Okay, ich brauche auch noch ein paar. Also muss ich mir noch irgendwann mal welche herstellen. Ein Regal voller Bücher und Tränke. Es sieht aus, als hätte der Besitzer die Angewohnheit, gleichzeitig zu lesen und Tränke zu erforschen.
Here comes Albedo. Let's
Oh.
go see him.
Wo ist er? Ah, da ist er ja. Sprich mit dem zurückgekehrten Albedo. Machen wir.
I'm back. Did you see anything interesting?
Ich habe keine Ahnung, wozu alles gut ist. Es herrscht ein ziemliches Durcheinander.
Not to worry. They're all for alchemical purposes. You'd be hard-pressed to find an everyday use for them. Well, on with the research. There may be significant differences between different worlds. Take Tevat, for example. Here, those with visions can manipulate the elements.
Ja.
But worlds may well exist where only one person is able to do so. Or even everyone. So, leaving elements to one side. Do you possess any unique abilities? Ones that don't exist in this world? I think answering this question calls for the same methodology as last time. In other words, time for the next experiment.
Muss ich wieder gegen Schleime kämpfen? Ich habe genug getrunken, danke.
No, no. You shan't be required to exert quite so much effort this time around. Now, see this pillar here? Use your willpower to try and break it.
Tut mir leid, ich schaffe das einfach nicht. Paimon, probierst du mal.
You think Paimon knows how to do that stuff?
That was your best effort? Well, can't be helped, I suppose. Have you tried using your elemental power with food? I don't mean for cooking as such. Rather, channeling your power into the ingredients themselves. I'm curious to see how the taste and texture respond. It may even help with proliferation.
Alchemisten haben echt eine lebhafte Vorstellungskraft. Bist du sicher, dass du nicht gerade nur ein wenig hungrig bist?
I suppose I have a curiosity for things that others find surprising. Anyway, why don't you cook us up a sunshine sprat? I've just finished preparing the recipe.
Wow.
Cooking? Paimon was looking forward to more mad scientist stuff.
Not only is this recipe a staple for me, it's also worth experimenting with and highly nutritious.
Paimon bets you're just hungry. It does sound yummy, though. Okay, Paimon approves.
Ich weiß, worauf du hinaus willst. Ich spare eine Pflaster oder zwei für dich auf.
Good buddies are always on the same page.
I'll leave you to it then. Looking forward to the results.
Oder wie, oder was? Ich sehe da mal kurz. Sekunde, ich weiß nicht, warum es jetzt wieder abgebrochen ist. Ja. Okay, Butterbratling. Habe ich den etwa schon? Weil ich wieder mit dem reden muss. Geh mal kurz zum Feuer. Ist da drin überhaupt was zubereiten? Was ich auf jeden Fall machen wollte ist... Gut, ich weiß gar nicht mehr. Okay, ja, keine Ahnung, was das passiert ist. Ich habe extra das Internet nochmal neu gestartet und so. Also, weil ich dachte, das wäre das Problem gewesen. Aber, ja, aber jetzt war sie nicht so lang, also... Keine Ahnung, eine Stelle 15 Sekunden, muss das wieder zusammenschneiden. Keine Ahnung, was für ein Sack. Naja, keine
That was
Ahnung, ob wir es
fast.
geschafft haben oder nicht.
Looking forward to testing the results.
Okay, das ist ein bisschen ein anderer Witz, aber na gut, macht Sinn. So. Essen. Ja, ich habe das Ding noch nicht. Hast du irgendwo was zum Kochen dabei? Ja, hier, sogar. Stimmt. So, Butterbratling erlernen. Tada, wo haben wir den Butterbratling? Kann ich den gerade herstellen? Bin ich blind? Yes. So. Dann würde ich Fisch auch brauchen. Na gut. Zum Glück hatte ich es gerade dabei. Ist da irgendjemand, der einen Bonus hat? Ja. Ja. Machen wir das noch einmal. Na gut. Ist kein Unterschied. Gemacht. So. Leckerer Butterbratling.
That was fast.
Ja, ja, Ergebnis. Haha. So, gut. Bitteschön. Und? Besonders oder so?
An average outcome experimentally, but you've really brought out the flavor. You seem well versed in the science of gastronomy. As far as the proliferation hypothesis is concerned, we've come up short. Seems like food presents the same headaches in your world as it does ours. Unless... could it be that the natural laws of this world are limiting your unique abilities?
We just didn't know how to channel elemental power into the food. It's a little more complicated than adding herbs and spices, you know.
Not to worry. At least we put some food to good use. No need to feel disheartened. And here's your portion. Enjoy. I can box it up if you like.
Woohoo! Thanks! Glad you were paying attention.
Paimon hat einen neuen besten Freund. Kommt selten vor, dass sich jemand so um Paimon kümmert.
I can tell that you're good friends. Paimon was keeping an eye on you and your safety during the whole experiment. Not that Paimon would have been able to do much if things had gone wrong. But anyway.
Hey! You were being nice a second ago! But you do have tasty recipes, so Paimon forgives you. And you're right, we are good friends. You have good friends too, right? Good students?
Yes. I'm fortunate too, I suppose. Anyway, moving on to the next experiment.
Yes.
There are all manner of alchemical items here. Keeping them in their proper place is a challenge at the best of times. A while ago, I had the misfortune of misplacing a batch. I managed to retrieve the majority, but 2 vials have been evading me. Animal crystal fly elemental extract and electrohypostasis powder.
Na klar.
Paimon's barely finished eating and you want us to go gathering again?
Don't worry if you can't locate them. I was planning to replace them anyway. Though finding them would save me the hassle. If you had, say, a superpower, like night vision or vibratory sensing, lost property would be a thing of the past. I must have dropped them somewhere in the area where you were looking just now.
So, guess we'd better take a look.
Die Gegenstände sollten Spuren von Elementen
Oh
aufweisen.
yeah! You could use elemental sight!
Yes. Verwenden den Inventarblick, um die verlorenen Gegenstände zu suchen. Aha. Ist ja nix. Nee, da darin, oder was? Aha. Ist das also die Elektrospur?
This must be electrohypostasis powder!
Richtig. Aha. Anemo.
The extract of an animo crystal fly can only be animo elemental energy, right? This has gotta be it!
Ja, supi.
Still in one piece! Good thing the vial's so strong!
Tatsache.
Goodness, you managed to find them.
Donnerliedchen.
Incredible. 1,000 thanks. I'm wondering, this elemental sight, this is what allowed you to locate the items and find me here on the mountains, correct?
Yep! Guess it does sort of count as a superpower, huh?
Unfortunately, though elemental sight is seldom seen, it is not unheard of in Teyvat. Only a never-before-seen otherworldly power would be of benefit to my research.
You mean, we failed again?
Don't be disheartened. This falls entirely within my expectations. Besides, getting these items back, I'd call this a very worthwhile experiment.
Yes.
I have to commend your deduction that the items would contain elemental traces. Right then. Up until now, our research has focused on your otherworldly identity. Our research on your identity as one of us is just beginning.
Bis zum bitteren Ende. Ich will hier raus.
In essence, the differences between humans are reflected in our intellectual and physical capabilities. Let's start with physical. Looking out
Ja,
from
bitte.
where we're standing, can you see what Sucrose is doing?
Nö.
And if you jumped from here and landed on that cliff, the one over there, could you see her then?
Nein.
So what about if you planted a single blow on the mountain face here, and it burst into a million fragments? Then could you see her?
Nein. Klingt, als würden wir immer noch nach Superkräften suchen.
Then I shouldn't get too excited. Still, we'll gain a more thorough understanding with an experiment. I know of a location that will be perfect for a physical test. Please, follow me.
Das tue ich. Das zweite Experiment Welt abgeschlossen. Das dritte Experiment Leben. Jetzt am Ort des nächsten Experiments, das da oben ist. Der da oben ist. Was? Also beides ist dort. Der Ort und das Experiment. Was Sinn macht, weil der Ort des Experiments ja der Ort ist, an dem das Experiment ist. Und wie komme ich da hin? Was da oben ist, was? Wenn nicht das passieren würde, wäre das sicher nicht schwer zu erreichen. Also kann ich mich wieder beruhigen. Bin mal sehr gespannt, was wir da oben für ein tolles Experiment machen können. Das anzünden, da kann ich dann was dafür. Nein. Ah, da kann ich mich aufwärmen. Das reicht mir eigentlich hier schon. Ja, wollte ich gar nicht. So, jetzt sind wir mal da oben. Schauen wir mal. Da kann man sie nochmal aufherzen. Okay. Aber nach den Gesprächen sind wir immer aufgewärmt. Vielleicht, keine Ahnung. Kann ich mir gut vorstellen zumindest.
You want us to jump from up here?
Not necessarily. Not if you know of a better method, that is.
Uns sollte schnell etwas Besseres anfallen. Das beruhigt mich nicht besonders.
Whichever method you choose, the experiment will end when you reach the opposite shore of the lake. I will factor the time expended and your top speed into my comparative analysis.
The opposite side of the lake. So, we're gonna be swimming?
Without limitations, we complete tasks intuitively, using the method that seems most rational to us. Some of us would be unable to stand the icy waters. Others might find the whole thing rather refreshing. No matter what choice you make, it's all a part of the experiment. For me, every detail is invaluable to the research.
Das ist genau mein Art Experiment. Um ehrlich zu sein, ist das weniger stressig als die Sache mit der Superkraft.
Then if you would, please, I eagerly await the results.
Wait a minute. While we're busy testing, what exactly are you gonna be doing?
Me? Recording data, responding to risks, providing emotional support.
So, if we do decide to go swimming, you gonna dive in with us?
No. Unless you're thinking of conducting competitive research?
Oh! Forget Paimon said anything.
Und so hat Minen oder so, verstehe. Other side of the lake. Dann hast du müssen da schwimmen. So. Wenn wir dann noch angeln, aber ich glaube nicht, dass wir das jetzt machen können gerade. Ja, da bitte und da sind Schlussfolgerungen an. Wo ist er denn? Da oben? Ich bin nicht mal sicher, ob ich die Fische da schon habe. Wo muss ich dafür hin, dass ich das da angeln kann? Wir wollen nicht hier ran. Ja, da wollte ich eigentlich nicht hin, aber ich muss mal wieder übers Ziel hinaus. Dann reden wir einfach mal.
Great work. I've never seen a performance quite like it.
Tja,
Your reputation precedes you,
kein
traveler.
Wunder.
The data shows that you're easily outperforming the average citizen in Mondstadt.
But you followed us the whole way without breaking a sweat!
Me? Actually, I used alchemy to cheat a little. But anyway, if it turns out that the natural laws of Tavad do not affect you, I should be able to make various inferences about the otherworldly civilization you belong to. If the natural laws of Tavad do affect you, then I shall be able to make inferences into the kind of evolution that would occur under the absence of such effects. The innumerable possibilities that this could present, the captivating insights, it would be something to savor again and again.
But how does this help your research?
You've helped me to unravel many of the problems that were holding it back. When we return to the campsite, I should be able to show you something interesting.
Was hast du noch so gründlich erforscht?
I may be about to make some analogies between you and a few unusual specimens. I hope you won't be offended. Gold, petrified trees, a sun 8 times the size of our own. The essence of the investigative process is enthralling, but such feelings are inevitably fleeting in nature. I'm willing to pour all my energy into research, and yet specimens are finite. As the unknown transitions into the realm of scientific understanding, the feeling of enlightenment is lost. All these things that start out as objects of fascination end up possessing the prosaic mundanity of a sunsetia or a sweet flower. They cease to be noteworthy.
Oh, so that's why you wanted to paint those hilly turtles? Because you got to see something new and interesting and the differences between them?
Precisely. To quote my exact words from earlier, these creatures are, for the most part, quite boring, not worth closer inspection. There is precious little about them that serves to pique my curiosity now.
So after all these experiments, are we gonna be, like, boring to you? Like some basic draft of a sketch?
Of course not. You have been of great assistance to me, and I will remember this friendship for a lifetime. Now, before we head back to the campsite, there's one more experiment. Intelligence.
Oh nein.
Follow me. There are some other ruins nearby.
Intelligenz, das musste kommen. Das letzte Experiment. Schwindelnder Ruhm begibt dich zum Art des Intelligenztests. 300 Meter, hallo, da gibt's das hier. Okay. Ist zumindest eher okay. Don't look at me like that. So. Ja, ja, das ist super. So, aber ich habe gerade einen Intelligenztest zu machen, also haltet euch ein bisschen zurück, ja? So. Okay. Mal schauen, ob wir so gescheit sind, um da ein Rätsel zu lösen, wahrscheinlich. I'm gonna try it out.
I imagine you must have encountered more than a few conundrums during your travels.
Yes.
I'd like to observe your intelligence by means of a practical test of your capabilities, much as we did for the physical test.
Und ich habe noch ein paar Rätsel nach in der Lösung anschauen müssen. Ja, also. Ja, kein Problem. Würde ein schriftlicher Test nicht reichen.
I'd like you to explore these ruins and return with your findings. There are 2 puzzles located at the far ends of the ruins. After completion, you should be able to activate the mechanism in the center. As with the physical test, there are no restrictions. Everything you do is an action I wish to observe.
Ich werde langsam richtig gut in dieser Sache. Nur ein Wille ist auch
Tried
ein
and
Weg.
tested adventurer, I see. So, let's see you in action. Start wherever you like.
Da drüben. Ach, die Dinger wieder.
It's a complex environment, so proceed with caution.
Das ist wieder was, wo ich den genau im richtigen Augenblick dann aktivieren muss. Schaut gut aus eigentlich. Yes. Genau. Perfekt. Das sah sehr gut aus. Genau wie der Gegenüber da gewesen ist. Bin mir nicht sicher, ob der da dazu gehört zu dem Test, aber wenn ich den schon sehe da drüben. Okay. Ja, so weit werde ich aber nicht kommen, ne? Ich habe keine Ahnung, ich habe bei der davon unendlich, glaube ich. Windfängerflasche. So, machen wir einfach mal so. So, dann kommen wir schon rüber. Was nicht so gedacht ist, aber. Das Ding fliegt auf jeden Fall in diese Richtung. Tag auch. Du hast mich gesehen. So, jetzt werden wir gleich anfrieren. Weil überall Wasser ist. So. Tag auch. Bis dann.
Sealy like these are a common sight in the mountains. Returning them to their rightful places is up to you.
Gut, ich habe dann aufgeben. So. Okay, und das wird nicht so schwierig, plötzlich zu sein wie der andere. Außer da fliegt ein paar seltsame Orte. Dass man hinkommen muss. Zum Beispiel darauf. Aber gut. Ist ja schon, das war nicht so schwer zu sein, darauf zu kommen. Das schaffe ich sogar noch. Nee, ich kann gar nicht.
It should now be possible to activate the central mechanism. Exactly what will happen when you do is something I'm looking forward to finding out.
Ja, nicht erst, aber ich bin gerade erstmal.
This is Paimon's job.
Ah, ich bin jetzt warm.
You're in for a little shock.
Nix da.
Windblade.
So, vielleicht hätte ich einfach die Vorrichtung aktivieren sollen, dann hätte ich das Problem gar nicht gehabt,
I'll protect us.
dass ich kämpfen musste, aber naja, gut. Aha. Besuche den Bereich hinter dem Abfluss.
Seems that the water level has suddenly decreased. We should be able to see what's in the water now. Let's have a look.
Ja, jetzt ist nichts mehr im Wasser, weil das Wasser weg ist. Du willst ein Wissenschaftler sein? Oha.
What's this?
Unbekannte Zeichen. Ich habe das Gefühl, die schon irgendwo gesehen zu haben. Ja,
To the best
vielleicht.
of my knowledge, these belong to a script of some kind. They can be found all over Teyvat, but they've never given up their secrets.
Also ich dachte, ich habe schon Drogen gedrückt. Achso, das Symbol war von ihm. Aber ich habe die Dings getroffen, wie heißt sie? Saccharose. Die habe ich dort getroffen. Aber da ging es eigentlich um ihn. Aber es gibt da noch eine andere eigene Mission für Saccharose. Darum habe ich die Symbol davor gesehen und dachte, das ist die Mission, aber dabei ging es eigentlich um die. Ja, okay.
There's still a lot to learn about them.
Das macht Sinn.
And as for why they should ever have come to rest here, a true mystery. Let me make a copy first. I'll make time to go over them in greater detail after our research.
Another thing for the don't understand list. Unsolvable mystery this, weird experiment that. It'd be nice to get some cool results for once. Seems like if you want the reward, you gotta pay the price.
I've truly gained a lot from all this. Comparatively, the little reward I can offer is too small to mention. Let me return to the campsite first. By the time you get back, I may just have a fleeting miracle for you to witness.
Bis gleich. Ich gehe davon aus, dass ich den Intelligenztest bestanden habe.
Paimon's kind of looking forward to seeing the results of all this brain ache. Unless you can think of anything better to do, let's head back to the campsite.
Not so fast. You're not leaving until I'm convinced that nothing dangerous is going on here.
You didn't leave the mountain?
I most certainly did not. And I've witnessed everything that you and Albedo have been up to. I must say, you let your guards down. Or maybe you were drawn in by his compelling-sounding hypothesis and friendly demeanor.
Was meinst du damit? Führt etwas im Schilde?
Taking orders from a complete stranger, drinking anonymous potions, participating in all kinds of strange experiments? I'd sooner believe you were tricked than that you would be so naive. Or perhaps you were colluding from the beginning.
Sister Rosaria's guard's so high, she can't even see over the top of it.
Ich habe ihm nur bei seiner Forschung geholfen. Ich glaube nicht, dass er ein schlechter Mensch ist.
It doesn't matter what you think. He could be a saint for all you know. But I understand him a little better than you, Outlander. I'm only concerned with one thing. Whether his alchemy has transformed you into something more sinister.
No way! Paimon would have sensed it. And anyway, he didn't even use any alchemy.
With an alchemist of his level, you wouldn't sense a thing. In any case, I'm not about to let a potential threat back into Mondstadt.
So, what are you gonna do?
Du bist hergekommen, um dich zu versichern. Dann tu, was du tun musst.
I've gotta hand it to you. You have your moments. If I can be sure that nothing you came into contact with is dangerous, that's good enough for me. I've investigated everything else. The only items left on the agenda are these symbols.
But we don't even know what they mean.
That much is true. Not to mention, seems like there's nothing more to them. But for insurance purposes, I'd better make a copy. This is now a location of interest. Regular patrols should be set up here. Now then, all things considered, I deem that you pose no immediate threat. Which is what I was hoping. I would have been one very unhappy sister if you'd made me work overtime on your account.
Overtime?
Before we go our separate ways, Outlander, a word of advice. Don't be so quick to trust Albedo, and don't repeat the same mistakes that you did this time. You made a lot of rash decisions today.
She's gone! So stubborn. Mondstadt doesn't have many people like that.
Vielleicht war sie nur unsicher. Vielleicht ist sie nur sehr empfindlich.
Huh. Never mind her. Let's go see Albedo.
Schwamm drüber. Kehre auf den Lagerplatz zurück und höre dir die Flussfolgerung von Albedo an. Die Server wechseln, glaube ich, hier ist. Ja. Ja. Ja, ist okay. Muss man nur einmal kurz im Kreis rennen. Oder im Halbkreis, was gesagt. Nicht mal. Viertelkreis allerhöchstens. So. Einmal links abbiegen. Also, was hast du rausgefunden, Kollege?
You're back. Good timing. I've just about reached the conclusion. You took quite a while. Did you get held up on the way back?
Nicht wirklich, kann man so sagen, und das sogar von einer Ordensschwester.
Time for the results. We got a myriad of data today, and it was very difficult to finish all the research in one go. But the integral preliminary conclusion that I can offer you is you're very much like a human from this world.
Punkt. Das ist alles?
You couldn't tell that just by looking? We spent all day working our butts off for that?
Please, I understand that this may have seemed self-evident to you, but in fact, nothing in this world should be taken for granted. Have you ever considered that the world of Tevat may have a natural hostility to Outlanders?
Nur die Götter würden das wissen. Vielleicht.
I mentioned the natural laws of this world. You're able to converse with me here without consequence, and nothing seems amiss. But it's arguably a small miracle. The only other life form that, like you, has come here from afar is the seed that I mentioned. Under the effects of Tevat's natural laws, it isn't even able to sprout, let alone bloom. But after I observed you, I had another idea. Imitating you helped to inspire my alchemy. And so,
Whoa! It looks like something's appearing!
the transition from nothing into something, from shoot to stem, and now to fruition. Is not nurturing otherworldly life also nurturing the world itself?
Aww.
Das war wunderschön, wie schnell das vorbei war.
It would seem that that's as far as we go. A transient bloom of incomparable beauty. Life's proudest achievement.
Paimon thought with all our efforts, it might have bloomed forever, and it didn't even have any fruit.
Life is a manifold tapestry of free entities. Its value shouldn't derive from how long it stays with us. Even a momentary burst is precious. A short life can be well lived. A life lived efficiently, lived to perfection, is necessarily one unburdened by loneliness. So, do you understand what I meant about us conversing here arguably being a small miracle?
Naja, noch bin ich nicht verwelkt. Ich frage mich, wie es ihr geht. Wer sie? Die Blume, oder?
Things feel a little heavy right now. Don't be sad. You've got Paimon to look after you. Albedo, Paimon really wants to be your friend.
Thank you both. Even if dispelling loneliness is not essential for life, it certainly doesn't hurt. Your help inspired me to discover the means to make a flower bloom.
Bin ich also ein hilfreiches Exemplar?
I mean that the time I've spent traveling with you in the mountains was a valuable journey for me. In the future, if the need arises, can I solicit your help again?
Natürlich, auch wenn du nur Gesellschaft brauchst.
Well, glad I can count on you. I made a point throughout of telling her how ordinary the results were. But what was that sediment I saw forming at the bottom of the vial? It should not have been there. What could it mean? Those born of Earth are bound by its imperfections, but those born of chalk are free of impurities. You and I are alike, both composed of a substance that has yet to be fully defined. If, one day, I lose control, destroy Mondstadt, destroy everything, can I rely on you to stop me?
Beobachtungsbericht des Reisenden oder so ähnlich. Yes! Ist das wahr? Ist das in einer anderen Welt so gemeint? Oder wie? Oder was? Aha, okay. Na krass. Das war eine etwas kürzere Mission. Das hat nur eine Stunde gedauert. Gut. Na dann geht es vielleicht doch mehr aus. Schauen wir mal. Auf jeden Fall. Würde ich jetzt gleich mit Dingens weitermachen. Wie heißt sie nochmal? Saccharose, genau. Die ist ja dort. Geht zum Wuwang-Hang. So. Der ist zum Glück nicht mehr auf dem Berg. Hier, so. Ja, danke schön. Dann machen wir hier gleich weiter, würde ich sagen. Habe ich es jetzt aktiviert? Ja, soll ich sogar zum Wuwang-Hang gehen. Das machen wir. Und zwar muss ich... Ganz auf. Da unten bin ich. Wenn ich hier hin teleportiere. Wäre noch der andere Punkt besser gewesen? Rund und genießbar. Wo ist denn das? Auch weiter oben. Überraschendes Ereignis. Da war recht. Naja, aber da ich für die Mission noch weiter haben muss. Das ist jetzt auch nichts Schlechtes. Aber kann ich euch helfen irgendwie? Oh. Das soll eigentlich gewesen sein mit dem. Nicht alle Monster, ja easy. Alle weg, Ereignis abgeschlossen. Amora, naja. Gut, wenn ich dann eine bestimmte Anzahl erledigt habe, kriege ich ja wahrscheinlich auch irgendwann mal was dafür. Der ballert auch einer auf mich. Also ich könnte dann wieder runterfallen, wenn die mich treffen. Wenn der mich trifft. Und ist egal. Oh, dann gehen wir wieder rauf. Ich glaube, hier war ich nämlich schon überall. Oder Platz darum gibt es da nicht. Merke die eine hier. Da gibt es auch noch eine. Ups.
Is this an answer for...
Ja, das ist nicht gut zu wissen. Und da explodiert es gleich, glaube ich. Na, doch
Don't be
nicht.
such a
Jetzt.
brute.
Das war ich selbst. Kann nichts dafür. So. Na, das Ding habe ich mal geöffnet. Ich weiß nicht, ob noch andere Gegner da sind. Und so. Ja, die Musik immer noch.
Is this an answer from this world?
Natürlich. Zu wem? So. Oh. Doch einiges. Okay, wenn der Typ da hinten feststeckt. Soll mir das recht sein? Okay, da gibt es eine Kopf. Die muss ich hier. Sollte ich hier mitnehmen, wenn ich schon welche sehe.